Everyone sitting here, our careers will end at some time in sports, in athletics. That's the reality of the situation. I was dealing with that uncertainty while I was writing that book that you all read together with your teams. And along the way, I made this commitment, same as y'all did with your goal setting, right? The goal setting, the very first thing we possibly did, the kickoff class that we all went through together, was about goal setting, writing that big scary goal right on the top of the piece of paper, and then that biggest fear right underneath, right? That was the very first thing we did as a class, as this mindset pilot program. While I was writing that book, my goal that I wrote down was I wanted to be a better human being, I wanted to be a better football player after this injury than before. That was the goal, and it was scary. I didn't know what was next. I couldn't walk. I didn't have a job anymore. My coach got fired. All this uncertainty, all those external circumstances were going around in my life. But I said, you know what? I know the answers to the test. I know how I'm going to get there. So I'm going to write it down so that one day somebody else can take that blueprint and they can go through life adversity and they can come out that other side stronger. So the 7 crucibles, everything we talked about, you had purpose, you had competition, you had leadership, you had support, you had all of these things that are beyond the scoreboard. It's really not what we're doing, it's how we're doing it. It's not the wins and losses, it's your response to the circumstances of what you can overcome. That was the main important message throughout the entire book. And that is how you get from one point, sitting on a bench, not knowing what's going to happen, to getting recognized with something like that video. And the point of the video isn't to say, okay, we get this recognition, we get these awards, we get the really cool Wikipedia page. That's not the point. The point is we commit to something together as a team, as a group, and we're going to be better human beings after than before. And sometimes those awards, the videos, can validate that hard work. Like my wife said in the video, it validates a whole heck of a lot of hard work in this process to becoming the best version of yourself. And that's that big, scary thing that we're all kind of going through. That's what I'm trying to describe to you guys, the importance of, taking that leap of faith, even though it's a little scary, even though you might not know what's on the other side. Because to be able to blaze your own trail, to take that very first step, and all of a sudden you understand that very first step off that edge isn't that scary, and you can take that second one, and then the third one gets really hard, but you have a coach that trusts you and believes in you, so you can take the fourth one, and then you have a teammate, and that teammate picks you up when you're feeling down, so you can take the fifth one, then you take the sixth one, then you look at your teammate, they're back a little bit, you can help them get back to where you're at, and you can do it together. That's the process. That's the hard work. That's the determination. That's the empowerment of you all being able to take whatever story you're trying to write this next year. We're all in summertime right now, a lot of off seasons going on right now. Y'all are your own authors. Y'all get to write your own books together as a team. Nobody can take that pen away from you. You have the power over your own story, your own journey. That's one thing I just wanted to make sure we talked about today. And I just really wanted to harp on that before we got to celebrate anything beyond that, because, I think it's so special. The amount of time, effort, and energy you all put into yourselves is one of the most beautiful things in the world. One of the most beautiful things in the world. There was a conversation I was having maybe 2 days ago. A college football player went to a local supplement shop down the street, and he was looking to get this magic stuff, right? Like, he didn't know if he needed creatine, he didn't know if he needed whey protein, but he's like, I'm showing up, I'm working my tail off in the weight room, I'm trying to be the best version of myself. He's going to this vitamin shop, and he's like, how can you give me something that's gonna help me lift stronger, be faster? How can I possibly do this? And the guy was like, hold up, how are you doing? What are you doing to focus on the internals? Are you breathing right? Are you visualizing right? Do you have a support system around you? Do you have leadership skills and qualities? And the dude's like, no, I need to work hard. I need to focus on this force. I need to push through. I need to grind it out. I need to do all these things. And the supplement shop guy said, there's not a one thing in this shop that can help you be the best version of yourself before you take care of you. Before you flip that stuff, look in the mirror and start committing internally to fixing what you got going on internally as a human being. And I heard that story, and we were talking about the importance of that. Completely changed the trajectory of this guy's life. The very next year, he starts working internally. He goes from a bench player to a starter, and obviously injuries ended up ending his career a little early, but he took that life lesson to create a business. And his business is all about helping other people become the best version of themselves And man, it was so inspiring to understand we had 100 kids go through internal work together with a team, creating safe spaces for one another, vulnerable spaces, to figure out what your purpose is, what's your why, how do you do what you do. So that internally we worked on it now in a short 2 to 3 week window. So now we're working on that internal stuff. Oh man, you start working on that external stuff now, but that internal's right. That's like superchargers, y'all. That's the secret stuff. That's the secret sauce. I'm telling you, the 6 programs in here right now that worked internally, there isn't a single program out here in this area that y'all are gonna be competing with that went through that internal work. And that's the real stuff. That's the sustainable change. That's the sustainable impact so you can be competitively great.